Hi, everybody. It's Zane with Sailing Views. I'm back to give you part two of the interview I was doing with Rod and Bill. Rod Fevela and Bill Draheim. Great sailors, really nice, funny set of guys. If you didn't see the first video, go ahead and go back and check it out. This break point is basically right after we were talking about the strangest things floating. Um, a big pig or a big hamster. That's kind of what Bill had, and that one definitely was funny. So, anyway, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and drop us into part two, or the B side, or whatever you want to call it. Here we go. All right. So, for both of you, what's your best role on a boat? Are you drivers, tacticians, trimmers? Do you have one specialty, or what?
I can guarantee you this, and I can guarantee this to the entire sailing community. I'm not going to even look at you, Zane, anymore. I'm going to look at the camera for the public to hear this.
Yeah.
Nobody, and mark my words, nobody can hand sandwiches and beers the way I do it. Period.
Nice. Okay, that is nice. Now, I got a couple of people around here that might challenge you for that, but we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, no, no. And I'm great at cleaning bilges and stuff. No,
Oh.
I really enjoy driving, but if I don't drive, not the end of the world. No, I feel lucky to be on board a cool team. That's my priority. The
Yeah.
jokes, the good energy, the good vibe. That's paramount.
Yeah.
And the boat goes fast when that happens. I do really enjoy the bow, and I'm not a real big guy, so I have been doing bow several times in several boats. Um, and I've been in several positions. I have trimmed a lot. I did a lot of trimming on J24s, which was kind of hard because those boats carry the Genoas up to 18, 19 knots through wind speed, and it was probably the smallest trimmer in the fleet everywhere we went, and that was exhausting. So, but I really enjoyed the bow and driving. If
Yeah.
you ask me, those are the two ends.
All right. How about you, Bill?
Well, first I want to say that Rod, yeah, just like he said, he's a great driver, but he's probably the best crew I've ever sailed with. So he shouldn't be. There's no reason he. Of course, he loves crewing because he's incredible at it. Me, I'm a total tiller hog. So
Uh-huh.
the first regatta I ever sailed was when I was 13. It was the first year we could sail the Sears event, and
Yeah.
we did the first round. I didn't know how to race. It was in a Flying Scot. Tom Eamon was running the regatta. It was his club in Michigan.
Yeah.
Two guys I sailed with from my club said, it's kind of windy. They said, look, we don't know really how we can get you up to speed and teach you how to crew. So you steer the boat, and we'll just tell you to go up, down, and keep the boat going straight. So my first regatta was steering, and I've just been, fighting for the tiller ever since.
I gotcha.
He's a great driver, needless to say. So I can crew for Bill any day of the week, twice on Sunday. So
Yeah.
no problem.
See, I don't know if they still have this job, but I'm sewer. I'm the guy that packs the kite down below. I'm good at that.
Nice.
All right. Let's see here. What's the best single maneuver you've made? Like a great start, great mark rounding, just one spectacular maneuver.
Uh, well, actually, it was one regatta. I think, yeah, it was BX1. So I don't recall exactly which one it was. It was a local event. It was not a North Americans, but we had quite a few boats. A little bit pin favor, nail it through the pin, and 30 seconds, 20 seconds into it, that beautiful from the clouds open, and here comes the lefty, probably 8 degrees bow downer. You carry on a little bit, tack. That's it.
Just
You can
gone.
stop the race right there.
Yeah.
That was it.
Gone.
But the pin was really fought for. So it was. I mean, it was nothing like really spectacular. You have sometimes jibe sets and stuff like that, and float takedowns, and that are pretty epic. But this one, being able to just fight and be just squeezing the bow out and just go was a pretty good one on a very unknown venue. Actually, it was Pensacola, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
I gotcha. Now, how about you, Mr. Bill?
Yeah, I don't know which singular event, but any time when there's a lot of boats on the line and gets light, starboard gets a little headed, and you can pull off port tack in the fleet on the starting line. I think those are the most exciting.
Yeah, those are always fun.
Yeah.
Um, and I've got a bunch of them that stick out in my mind. There's one in the lasers, and this is back when the class was just huge. And our little races in as Southern, had 45 boats. And a lot of really good sailors. And somehow or the other, I was stuck on the outside, and everybody caught up, and it was like a 40 boat pinwheel. And I realized it about 6 boat lengths out, and everybody started jockeying and yelling for room. And I just sort of put my board down, whipped out a big jibe, ducked them all, went inside, jibe, boom, shot, and I'm inside, and I just stood up. I'm like, I got room on every one of you. Get out of my way. And I did it like right at the 4 boat length circle. So by the time I finished my job, I come skating in. I'm like, I got you. I got all the rules. That was just beautiful. Um, all right. So what do y'all think about the America's Cup? I mean, liking the foiling, or is it just so disconnected from real sailing? Or what are your thoughts on it?
Well, it's a great question, and the America's Cup, even from the get-go, has helped the sport, in my opinion, towards the scientific and developmental part. At
Yeah.
least is the uncle that we know is there, but we don't need it just yet. That has been my opinion, right? I mean, so it does create a great development for the sport, but at the same time, when are we going to see boats with side foils, monohulls with side foils back into the regular market, right? So sure, it is impressive and take us to another level from a research standpoint, in my opinion. But when you sail VX1s or J22s or 24s or Flying Scots or Catalina 22 for that matter, or Melges 24s, becomes something a little bit um, away from us because now the game is different. If the boat touches the water, game over.
Yeah, you're
Versus
out.
a boat, that's it. So, sometimes there are some things that I cannot say that somebody lost the America's Cup today because the other sailors were better. No, these guys hit a lull.
Yeah.
So it becomes a little absurd, in my opinion, because it's gonna come down to that one. And I know it can be a little bit of a blunt statement, but that's the truth. If you go in displacement mode, forget about it.
Yeah.
So I saw them in Newport at the VX1 North Americas last year. I saw one of them falling by. I'm sure it's impressive.
Hmm.
And at the same time, they seem somewhat fragile for the monstrosity of both that it is in terms of size. They're beautiful and everything is high tech. So, it's exciting to see, for me as a sailor, to see where the sport and the technology is taking us. But I'm not really sure what other benefit is going to bring after that.
Yeah. I mean, the boats are impressive. So what about you, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, my sentiment is similar to Rod's. I think the one thing it brings curiosity to our sport, simply because our sports media and and sports media in general, they look at the America's Cup a little, and it opens some people's eyes to our sport, but it doesn't create a way for entry into our sport.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to have a boat like that. We're not going to get new people involved in the sport because of that. I also don't think it's the highest level of sailing in our sport. I think far and away the toughest arena in our sport is the Olympics. You have multiple great sailors from all around the world. The boats are a little more one design. I mean, the whole setup for the America's Cup is about people that can figure out, can I build a boat faster than everybody else, and then let's make sure it's just a match race, so I only have to cover the boat that's slower than me. It creates interest, but I certainly wish that sailing media and sports media in general could or would focus more on something like the Olympics, smaller boats. I know in Europe, when I go to Europe and watch, their sports media over there, they're filming Olympic type sailing and smaller boats sailing all the time. And I think when that happens, it allows more people to recognize that they can get involved in our sport. But if they only see the America's Cup, I don't think they're going to ever realize that they can get involved in our sport.
Yeah, the America's Cup. It's always been the designers, engineers game. For me, it's always been a dream, and I knew a bunch of people from my area. Eric Doyle, Judd Smith, Judd Chamberlain, uh, Kyle Smith. Or I mean, I don't know. We've had a bunch of people around here end up going and doing America's Cup, and it always drove me crazy that they got to go and I never did. And now I look at it, I'm like, man, there's no way. You know, I guess I'm glad I never did because I'd probably still have that bug. But now it's just a thing to watch.
Yeah.
And boats that do 50. I don't know. That's just pretty stinking impressive. All right, so what are y'all's future plans? When everything lifts up, which shouldn't be too much longer, I think everything's slowly starting to lift back up. What do y'all have coming up?
Well, right now here, as you see, Zen, we have a bunch of VX Evos and VX1s here at the warehouse of the shop. We're gonna, get ready to it. I have a brand new boat that got here actually in December. It hasn't touched the water yet. And we actually are waiting. All our class regattas have been canceled for the year. We may have the Sarasota Winter Series, the first event that happens at the end of November, potentially December this time. So that's probably the next big thing. Trying to do a lot of club racing. I think this COVID-19 crisis that we are coming out of has been a good example of teaching us what not to give for granted. So I've been very pushy about the club, your local club activity, but right now even more, right? So it's because you have no choice, right? As soon as something opens, you just gotta go out and sail in your club. So a lot of that, and just trying to kind of pick up again where we left at, but with probably a little bit of a different approach and definitely focusing more energy to our local arena.
I gotcha. All right. Well, Bill, you never answered. What have you got planned? Anything?
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know if there's anything solidified on the calendar yet. I mean, I'm anxious to go back and do some regattas because it's been a while. I think I sailed in the last regatta that was out there back at the MCBID Winters. But I typically just enjoy one design sailing so much, and I think that's the way to keep our sport viable and potentially growing. And so I spend a lot of my time racing one design regattas because I'm hopeful that that's how we can get more people involved in the sport. My calendar is still open because I don't know about the regatta schedule this year.
Yeah.
One regatta saying for everybody that hasn't canceled yet that if he goes, I'm definitely doing it. Is the Chicago MAC this year? The MAC is still on.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, we're definitely going to make it.
But that's an interesting one, and I don't have any thoughts on it. Tell you what, but here's something. I've got a good question for you. Women, what do you think about women sailing?
Hang on, I'll be right back.
Yeah, women sailing. All right, go with it, Bill.
Yeah. So I actually think having women more involved in the sport is going to contribute enormously.
Yeah.
To the sport. We need more women. There is some activity in the Flyers Cup. We see couples and we see women's teams. We see also women in sunfish. We're seeing women in VX1s. Thistles is a class that also attracts quite a lot of women. J22s, and there are actually a bunch of teams J24s that are all women out there. So I think it's more than a compliment. I think it's a need. We as a community, we need to have women involved, especially because our sport is one of the biggest exposures of ego out there, right? So we spend millions of dollars or seconds or whatever, every time on their own budget and their own possibilities. We just spend a lot of resources just to gain bragging rights, because even surfers make a ton more money than we do. So,
any sport makes more money than we do. All we do is spend money. So
yeah, just checkers probably are making more money than we do, right? So it is all, when you look at it. So people ask me, non-sailors ask me, what do you do that, right? The trailer, the boat, the car, the rooms, the traveling, the time of work. So it comes down to egos. It's the ultimate answer. And women handle that way better than we do. So they bring another element that has somewhat foreign for most of the sailing. Where this is essentially a male, I don't want to say dominated, but the presence of men is definitely higher. So I feel that we need more women to be involved, and whatever it takes to get them.
More women, more money. That solves all the problems. All right, what do you think, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, kind of the same thing. Um, Fairly early in my career, when I was racing 470s, they had the men's 470 division for the Olympics and a women's 470 division for the Olympics. And in the U.S. And even around the world, we would all race together, and it became pretty obvious that the women were just as good as the men.
Yeah.
It's not the kind of sport that's all that physical. And certainly all the women that were involved in that class at that time weren't apprehensive, and they showed that they could handle anything we could handle. Maybe there's some apprehension as it trickles out other places, but obviously one of the greatest ways to get growth in our sport is to get more women involved. I think there's so few more women in the world than there are men, and it's the perfect sport for them to be involved with, and they would obviously excel after going up against them in the 470. So yeah, please join if you're wondering whether or not you should.
Yeah, I mean, definitely more women. Um, what kind of advice do y'all have for new people that want to get into sailing? Not just women, but men and women, families, couples, whatever. How can we get them more active, or
You
even
mean
get them interested?
you mean newcomers to the sport, or people non-sailors make it have them join?
People that might watch a video and go, "Ooh, I like boats," or just somebody that's new to the boats, or just went out and bought a boat on Craigslist for $200. I mean, how do you get those people in and attract them? And how do we get them? How do we make lifelong sailors out of them?
Yeah, well, it's a great point, and there is a lot of that going on. Being at the shop, I talk to a lot of customers, and a lot of them are, new sailors. They got a boat as a good deal here, inherited the boat, a relative, a friend, the story.
Yeah,
And I do think they go through a lot of struggle, and they think that's the norm. For example, they buy the boat, but they don't join the club, right? Because immediately you think about the budget, right? I mean, you got to pay the dues, and then the slip fees or the parking fees, whatever it is. But at the same time, you're launching your boat on the public ground, and you don't have a dog, and then the family is coming with a cooler, and you cannot, jump on the boat. And now, what is supposed to be a nice family and a cool activity becomes a real mission. It's like work, right? Granted, you prepare the boat for an hour when you're gonna sail for half an hour, and then you come back and you spend another hour putting it away. So community is the key. Trying to get the new sailors, whoever jumps aboard, get into your club. It doesn't have to be anything super expensive. Most of the clubs are affordable in the country. And join, because the amount of support, I mean, you as a sailor, we all can talk sailboat forever, non-stop. So there is a community that will support them. And I think the message hasn't come through to the new sailors about that. They cannot be on their own trying to, sail and splash and I go sailing and come back, because there is a lot more behind that we haven't been able to present to them. I think we have to break that fence.
yeah. I mean, I pretty much agree with you. So, Bill, I would think you would agree too. I mean,
Oh yeah, I mean, I agree. I think clubs, at the local level, need to ratchet down their intensity. For people that have strong ego and want to excel in the sport, there's plenty of regional, national, and international events that they can go to see, what their level is. But unfortunately, a lot of that ego and a lot of that intensity has been brought down to the club level, and it intimidates beginners. And I think clubs need to recognize their entry level to get people nurtured in our sport and make it a little more friendly, even if it's point-to-point racing or teaching people how to race or sailing with these beginners. But I think that's where we grow the sport, is at the club level.
yeah. I try at my club level, but I also know that we've got a good little Sunday afternoon group, and I try not to go out with them if you know, me breaking out my Melges sets all tricked out for nationals and go beating up on a wet sailed Catalina, you know, it's not fun for me or them. So I'm like, yeah, let's stay away from that. So, you know, and conversely, I'll jump in a Rose 19, which is the slowest boat out there, but it's, you know, a national level boat, and it kind of does the same thing. It's like, yeah, everything I have is a little too well prepared for the little basic stuff. So I try not to do it, or I try to sail with other people and help them out and do things like that. And I think that's, you know, just jumping in and helping is a good thing for just about everybody. Um, and I don't think anybody would say no. All right, so wow, we've banged out these questions pretty well. Um, Wait a minute, you know what I didn't get to? Who, or maybe I did and I forgot already. Who were your early influences? Who taught you? Who made you the sailor you are?
Oh, that's a great one. It's, so back in Venezuela, we had uh, the name of his name was Humberto Costanzo. He's basically he's no longer with us. But he's the person that brought the strongest or the most competitive sailing to Venezuela back in the mid '70s. So he was running the sailing school, Italian guy, very old school, very strict, and he really taught us. I never sailed in fresh water until I made it to the U.S. We always sailed outside in the ocean, and we thought that's what it is. We didn't know any better, right?
Mm.
So he was my mentor, especially in my early days. Then we were lucky enough to meet Derek Fries. Uh, the book he wrote, you know, he autographed for me. That was the Bible. I mean, that was the gospel. And of course, Eduardo Cordero has always been like an older brother to me. We're very close friends.
Yeah.
And he has been a mentor and the guy to catch, right? So it was a very fun, very particular situation. And so you know, those three individuals early on in my sailing had a very heavy influence. I don't think you can have enough mentors. You know, I look up to many sailors today. I look up to Bill. I look up to Paul Forrester, which is local to us as well. I look up to many guys. And just back to the original question, is like, where do you gauge? Where are we at? Right? It's endless. And because of that, I don't think the mentors. We run out of mentors, which is a blessing in our sport. Right? I think it will be a problem to somebody to say, hey, you know what, guys, I'm the guru, like for real, and that's it. That would be a pretty sad day for that guy, regardless of how great of a sailor he can be.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the three names. But again, there's people still around me that I look up to and you know make influence my sailing life.
Yeah. All right. How about you, Bill?
Yeah, I would say I have one mentor also, but there's one guy in particular that stands out. It's pretty easy for me. When I was young and talking about sailing sunfish, that's what I did. And our little club in Michigan had a fall regatta, and every year this guy would come back to the fall regatta and he'd race it, and he'd win, of course, in the lightning class. And one fall, as I was going to go back to school in Texas to college, he stopped me and he said, "How about you stay here for a year and I'll teach you how to make sails and I'll make you a better sailor." The guy's name was Bruce Goldsmith. He's won either the nationals or the worlds in every single class he's got involved with. He was a sailmaker for Murphy Nye in Chicago, and then he decided he was going to open up a little sail loft at our little lake in Michigan, southeast Michigan, a north loft, and he wanted me to be involved because he saw me as the up-and-coming sailor. And Bruce was absolutely incredible. He won the Lightning North Americans maybe 5 years in a row in the mid-'70s. He was second at the Olympic trials to Buddy Melges in the Soling in '72, maybe '76. Where was Germany? '72. And then they had the pre-Olympic regatta in Germany. He was allowed to race that one with Buddy, but only one boat at the Olympics. But at the pre-Olympic regatta, Bruce won going away. Just the most naturally gifted sailor I've ever been around. Tactical genius, boat speed genius, and he took me under his wing, and he let me sail with him in the Lightning, and he got me a Thistle, and he nurtured me. And if it wasn't, I was just at the right place at the right time. If it wasn't for him, my level wouldn't have grown like it did. So I consider myself really lucky.
Yeah, very nice. All right. Well, this video is getting a little long. What I'm probably going to do is break it in half since there's two of you. I'll just split it up. We'll do a two for this week. So, do you guys have anything else to add to this?
Well, I do. First of all, I want to thank you. Not thank you for this interview in particular. I want to thank you for the initiative because you're helping the sport. One of the things that this energy is doing is what we need. So doesn't matter what the effort is. Doesn't matter if we have all the boats without sails, without a Caribbean beach behind us. It is initiative, the energy, and people and players like you, which you're a top level sailor, but beyond that, and even more important, you're a gentleman and you're helping out what we love. So I wanted to thank you, Zane. I didn't get the chance to do it at the beginning. So thanks for that.
I honestly don't feel like I'm doing anything. I need to talk to my sailing friends. So
Hey, you know how hard you worked to get this thing to work today?
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah, this was an hour trying to get this sound to work. All right. So what about you, Bill? Anything?
Well, I think Rod summed it up. I mean, hopefully because of your efforts and talking to all these people, everyone will be in a frenzied atmosphere and we'll get to go sailing thanks to you and creating energy. We'll go do it bigger and better than ever.
Yeah.
I'll see you in a green sunfish. You're probably going to jump on a sunfish. It's going to be painted green or something.
I've had green.
Full of eels, not.
I've had a lot of green boats, believe it or not. Yeah. Anyway. Okay.
Cool.
Well, with this, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, and I'm going to go ahead and let you know. I'll probably split this one in half, and we'll do a 2 for Tuesday or something. I'll make a A and a B side or something. I don't know. But I want to thank you guys for getting on here and for overcoming the sound issues. Now, I don't know what it actually sounds like to the rest of the people, but we can hear each other fine, so we'll see.
We'll be fine.
Thanks, Zane.
All right.
Thank you, Zane.
Thanks, guys. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and have everybody do that and share this video. And I've got a lot more good guests coming. I've got Taylor coming. I've got Nixon coming. I've got Don Riley coming. I've got just... Ash Beatty, Hank Siraj. I've got sailors come out of the woodwork to do this, so this is going to be fun.
We need to get Eduardo.
I'll get Eduardo.
I'll talk to him.
Yeah, I keep losing my phones every regatta I go to, so I have to get new numbers every other month. So it's about to drive me crazy.
I'll make it an offer he can't refuse.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Well, thanks, guys. Talk to you later,
Thanks,
and don't forget to subscribe to Sailing News. All right, over,
done.
out. Bye-bye.
Bye.